Immigration has been a hot-button issue in America for many years. With Mexican immigrants in particular, the subject has been even more polarizing. While some Americans are welcoming and supportive of Mexican immigrants, others harbor negative attitudes. But why is this case? What are the underlying reasons that cause some Americans to dislike Mexican immigrants? Could it be a matter of economics? Are some Americans afraid that Mexican immigrants are taking away their jobs and livelihoods? Or is it a question of culture? Do some Americans feel uncomfortable or threatened by the unfamiliar customs and traditions that Mexican immigrants bring with them? Could stereotypes and prejudice be the root cause of negative attitudes toward Mexican immigrants? These are just a few of the questions that we will explore in today's video. But before we start, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay connected. So without further ado, let's get started. Economic concerns. What role does immigration play in America's economic struggles? This is a question that has been at the forefront of many discussions and debates surrounding Mexican immigrants. While some Americans view immigrants as a valuable part of the workforce, others believe that they contribute to economic instability. One of the primary concerns that some Americans have about Mexican immigrants is that they take jobs away from American citizens. The argument is that immigrants are willing to work for lower wages, which in turn puts pressure on American workers to accept lower pay as well. This creates a cycle of decreasing wages that is difficult to break. Additionally, some Americans believe that illegal immigrants take jobs that would otherwise go to American citizens, making it even harder for native-born workers to find employment. Another concern that some Americans have is that Mexican immigrants overburden social services. The argument is that immigrants use public resources such as schools, hospitals, and welfare programs without contributing their fair share of taxes. This puts a strain on the system and creates an unfair burden for American taxpayers who are left to foot the bill. There is also a perception that illegal immigration contributes to the country's economic struggles. Some Americans believe that illegal immigrants do not pay taxes, which leads to lost revenue for the government. Additionally, illegal immigrants may use public resources without paying their fair share, adding to the burden on American taxpayers. While these concerns may be valid, it is important to note that not all immigrants are the same. Mexican immigrants come from a wide range of economic backgrounds and have different levels of education and skill sets. Some are highly educated and work in specialized fields, while others work in low-wage jobs that are difficult to fill. Additionally, many immigrants contribute to the economy by starting businesses, paying taxes, and buying goods and services. It is also important to note that immigrants are not solely responsible for America's economic struggles. Economic conditions such as globalization, automation, and the decline of certain industries have all played a role in the changing job market. Additionally, there are many economic benefits to immigration, including increased economic growth and a more diverse workforce. Cultural differences. How do cultural differences impact the relationship between Americans and Mexican immigrants? This is a question that has been at the center of many discussions surrounding immigration. While some Americans are accepting and open to learning about different cultures, others may feel uncomfortable or uncertain when interacting with individuals from different backgrounds. One of the most significant cultural differences between Americans and Mexican immigrants is language. Spanish is the primary language spoken by Mexican immigrants, and not all Americans are fluent in Spanish. This language barrier can create misunderstandings and mistrust, especially when it comes to communicating with teachers, healthcare providers, and law enforcement officials. Another cultural difference is the importance of family in Mexican culture. Family is a central value in Mexican culture, and it is common for extended family members to live together or be in close proximity. This can be difficult for some Americans to understand, as the nuclear family is more typical in American culture. Additionally, family obligations may take precedence over work or other responsibilities, which can be frustrating for employers or co-workers who are not familiar with this cultural value. Political ideology. How does political ideology shape attitudes toward Mexican immigrants? This is a complex and multifaceted issue, with opinions varying widely based on political beliefs. Conservative ideology tends to prioritize national security and sovereignty, which can lead to negative attitudes toward Mexican immigrants. Some conservatives may view Mexican immigrants as a threat to these values, particularly if they enter the country illegally. This view is often tied to concerns about border security and the possibility of drug trafficking or other criminal activity. A 2019 study conducted by the Pew Research Center found that 72% of Republicans and Republican-leaning independents believed that increased border security was necessary to address illegal immigration. In addition to concerns about national security, conservative ideology also tends to prioritize economic individualism. This can lead to negative attitudes towards Mexican immigrants as competition for jobs and resources. Some conservatives may view Mexican immigrants as taking jobs away from American citizens and lowering wages. According to a 2016 Gallup poll, 75% of Republicans believed that immigration should be decreased, compared to 24% of Democrats. On the other hand, liberal ideology tends to prioritize inclusivity and social justice, which can lead to more positive attitudes toward Mexican immigrants. Some liberals may view Mexican immigrants as valuable members of society who contribute to American culture and economy. A 2019 study conducted by the Pew Research Center found that 77% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents believe that immigrants strengthen the country. Liberal ideology also tends to prioritize human rights, which can lead to support for Mexican immigrants' rights. This includes advocating for a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and opposing policies that separate families. In a 2019 survey conducted by the Public Religion Research Institute, 69% of Democrats supported a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants compared to 26% of Republicans. While political ideology is not the sole factor in shaping attitudes toward Mexican immigrants, it is an important one. The divide between conservative and liberal views on immigration has become increasingly polarized in recent years, with little room for compromise or cooperation. This has led to policy gridlock and further entrenched attitudes on both sides. However, it is important to note that not all Americans fit neatly into these ideological categories, and attitudes toward Mexican immigrants are not always predictable based on political beliefs. For example, some conservatives may support immigration policies that prioritize legal immigration and reject policies that are seen as punitive or discriminatory towards immigrants. Similarly, some liberals may hold negative attitudes towards Mexican immigrants based on concerns about job competition or cultural differences. Stereotypes and Prejudice. Stereotypes and prejudice towards Mexican immigrants in America have been an ongoing issue, fueled by a variety of sources. One of the most significant contributors to these negative attitudes is the media, which often portrays Mexican immigrants in a negative light. News outlets, television shows, and movies frequently depict Mexican immigrants as criminals, drug dealers, and job stealers, perpetuating harmful stereotypes that contribute to prejudice and discrimination. For example, in recent years, there has been a significant increase in negative media coverage of Mexican immigrants in relation to crime. News stories often highlight cases in which a Mexican immigrant has committed a crime, without providing context or balance to the reporting. This type of sensationalized reporting can create fear and mistrust among Americans towards Mexican immigrants, even though studies have shown that immigrants, including Mexican immigrants, are actually less likely to commit crimes than native-born Americans. Personal interactions can also play a role in perpetuating negative stereotypes and prejudice toward Mexican immigrants. People may form negative opinions about Mexican immigrants based on a single negative experience with an individual, without considering that this experience may not be representative of the entire group. This can lead to a cycle of prejudice in which individuals continue to hold negative attitudes towards Mexican immigrants based on their interactions with a few individuals. One way to challenge these stereotypes and prejudices is through education and exposure to diverse cultures. Schools, for example, can teach about different cultures and their contributions to society, including the many positive contributions of Mexican immigrants. Conclusion: negative attitudes towards Mexican immigrants in the United States can stem from a variety of factors, including economic concerns, cultural differences, political ideology, and stereotypes and prejudice. It is important to recognize the complexity of this issue and to work towards addressing these underlying factors in order to promote greater understanding, empathy, and acceptance of Mexican immigrants in American society. How can we work towards reducing negative attitudes and stereotypes towards Mexican immigrants in American society? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. We will meet you soon in a new video.